Hey there, what's up? I'm Dr. Tony SLP, and you're listening to How to Be Seen, the podcast where a supportive community of marginalized women, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and creatives empower and inspire you to become successful in your life and business by showing up dripping in authenticity. If you like real, honest, raw advice from a self-love practitioner and a collective of women who've done the work, you're in the right place. I'm so grateful to have you here. All right, let's jump in. Hey, welcome to another episode of How to Be Seen. I am your host, Dr. Tony, self-love practitioner, and I want to just kick things off with a few facts before we get into the juicy meat and potatoes of this episode. So, since this episode is dedicated to all the introverts out there, let's break it all down really quickly. Okay, so introversion and extroversion and ambiversion, for that matter, are all personality characteristics rooted in where each individual draws their energy from. Extroverts tend to become energized by socializing in big groups, and they have many friends. They often make decisions quickly. They speak more. They're usually a little bit more outgoing. They're excellent communicators, and they enjoy being the center of attention. Introverts, on the other hand, recharge by spending time alone. They reflect before they make decisions. They often enjoy one-on-one conversations. They tend to listen more and are more introspective. They learn through observation, are more sociable with people they actually know. So while there are many myths out there on both characteristics, it all boils down to what situations bring out the best in you for you to thrive. Okay, enough for me. Let's jump into the rest of the show. Welcome, Julie. Can you go ahead and basically introduce yourself to the listeners and just a little bit about who you are and what you do, where you're located?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it to be a guest on this lovely podcast for women of color. And so my name is Julie Lavia. I am a visibility strategist, soon to be coach, community builder, female empowerment advocate. I'm super multi passionate when it comes to helping women online, especially if you're introverted and you want to be seen, you want to show up as your authentic self. You just want to help other people in business, but you're struggling with showing up and putting yourself out there in that noisy social media space. So I come in, me being an introvert myself, I try to come in and help you ladies just feel comfortable and may be able to show up in other ways that you don't necessarily need social media, and just finding a strategy that works well for you so that you can grow and scale in your business. I am located in Montreal, Canada, Montreal, Quebec, exactly. So I do in person networking events where I collaborate with other women. And I also do virtual and co working events in my Facebook group. So I'm really all about bringing these women together to show up for their business because it can be very tough, as I mentioned.
Wow. That's awesome. Can you share a common misconception about introverts when it comes to showing up online or in public spaces?
Good question. Yeah. So that's what I actually did something on this. And I know a lot of misconception is the fact that they're shy. They don't like to be out in the public. They just want to be behind the scenes. They don't like to work with people. And while some of that may be true, but it's not all introverts are like that. And a lot of people think when I tell them, "Oh, I'm an introvert," and they're like, "Really? No, I don't think so." But I think there's just certain levels of introverts. There's people like me who like to show up and be out there. Like you have to find ways to show up that's comfortable for you. But then ideally in person, I am actually more of an introvert where I stay by myself. I don't really have too many friends. I like to be home and I like to plan and execute and stuff like that. But it's just like everybody thinks when they think introvert, oh, I don't know if I want to have that type of person in my business because they can't contribute anything. But in actuality, we have so many skills behind the scenes that we're really good at that we could help you execute and delegate and just help you grow your business.
What was the turning point? when you realized you wanted to help other introverted women entrepreneurs with visibility?
Good question. So what happened was I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but it was just a matter of finding my foot and figuring out what type of entrepreneur I wanted to be. When I started getting more involved in the online space, I noticed that a lot of people were doing freelance work, and then I stumbled into virtual assistant. I took some courses in that, and while it is a very good and lucrative business, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. I wanted to coach people and inspire people. I just felt more compelled to try to reach more people, and I didn't want to do it by just working as a contractor in a virtual assistant business or just helping somebody in that way. I wanted to be more on the forefront. So I just ended up snowballing into coaching. I said, maybe I'll be a blog coach because I love to write and I like to write blogs. And then I was like, well, you know what? I don't think I'm completely passionate about that. So I had to rack my brain and be like, well, what can I help women with? What are they struggling with? And what is something that I've been through that I'm able to provide those solutions for them? So I figured, hey, visibility, right? Especially as an introvert or someone like me who started out really shy and just had a hard time showing my face on camera, I could easily relate, right? So I ended up starting to be a visibility strategist, and I just wanted to help other women like myself get out there and give them that support and accountability. So yeah, that's how I ended up where I am.
So it does sound like it was a full journey for you, which
Yeah.
is great, and for most of us, that is usually the story, pushing forward. But with all that said, what is your favorite thing about what you actually do?
Yeah, I started doing virtual events, and I always look forward every week to connect with these ladies and provide a space where they could feel safe and they could talk about anything. Because we always talk about all things business. And sometimes when we're having a tough day or something is going wrong in our business, at least I could sit down and talk to these ladies and just hash these out and ask them questions like, hey, I'm tired of marketing right now. Are you guys feeling the same way? And that's how they could, say, yes, I'm in the same boat. And this is a good strategy and that type of thing.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I really need to up my social network and connect with a like minded, supportive community of women who truly get me, then I want you to come on over to bcnetwork.com and check out the Self Love Wellness Club. That's B as in boy, the word C, the word network, all smashed together.com, and check out what we have going on over there. I would absolutely love for you to join us. Okay, now back to the show. Okay, so how can introverted entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, leverage digital marketing tools like blogs and videos and podcasts without feeling like they're being forced to conform to extroverted norms?
A good question. So, especially with blogs, if you're somebody who's an introvert and you love to write, I definitely highly recommend because with blogs, you could get so much out of it. You could always do affiliate blogs, review blogs. You could write a educational blog about your business, like why going vegan in 2024 is effective for your health. And then you could, let's say you have a cookbook or you have a recipe, or you have some kind of digital product, you could easily use that and promote that and get people into your sales funnel and nurture that relationship. So you don't necessarily have to be the forefront of your business, but you're still selling and you're still nurturing that relationship behind the scenes. So a blog is a great way to do that. And email marketing is good because you're starting that relationship and then you're also upselling them into your programs and your digital products. Podcasting is also a great way too. If you don't want to show your face, but you're comfortable using audio, then you could co-host as a guest. You can sponsor. You can do so many things behind the scenes, and you're still getting yourself out there. What also worked for me to grow my business was being in bundles, which is basically a hybrid event where people put on and they have contributors that submit their lead magnets. A lead magnet is a digital product that you're using to sell to people, like so they get to know more about you and your business. And yeah, so you have that digital resource. Everybody submits something like that. And then after you have the opportunity to choose which lead magnet that resonates more with you, and then that will help you build your email list as a person who contributed that lead magnet. It's just so many different like ins and outs of how to get yourself more visible without really having to show up and show your face and be loud and boisterous.
I totally get it. Absolutely. How can they actually push through self doubt or fear of judgment that may be holding them back?
Mm.
How did you push through?
This is all about mindset now. I think it was just always remembering your why. You're gonna have tough days in your business, and you're gonna sometimes want to just say screw it and forget it. We have to go back to remembering our why, and if that why is really strong enough for us to push through, then we know that this is the direction that we're supposed to take. Why you got into this business in the first place, and you help yourself with positive affirmations that yes, I can do this. Yes, I am meant for more. Yes, I am strong. I am beautiful. I'm courageous. That type of thing.
You've actually segued lovely right way into the next question that I was going to ask you anyway. As a self love practitioner, I'm always curious and definitely interested in how you go about balance. What does self care and self love look like for you? What's your morning routine? What do you do to keep yourself balanced in between everything that you do, what you're offering everyone, and what Julie needs?
I always make sure that I get my full 8 to 10 hours sleep because if you don't, then you're not in that mindset to want to work, right? I usually try to take some breaks. Like when I get too overwhelmed, I do try to journal. Things change all the time. But I just learned to take everything one day at a time. I don't stress anymore. A lot of opportunities are passing through me, and I'm just like, okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I put myself first. I try to avoid the stress. I live in the moment. I would love to focus more on self care and getting those facials every week and getting my nails done and all that. But really, it's all about healthy eating and better sleeping and taking those breaks in between so I don't get overwhelmed.
Absolutely. Sleep is extremely important. People don't put enough emphasis on it sometimes. And I think that is where burnout sometimes starts to take over. So that's awesome, actually. Okay. So, what's one key piece of advice you'd give to an introverted female entrepreneur who feels invisible but is ready to take a step forward?
Just start. I mean, I know sometimes those issues could get in the way where we're just always second guessing ourselves and there's self doubt and there's always going to be imposter syndrome where we're going to feel like we don't belong and we feel like someone's going to be better than us. But in actuality, you are unique and you have something to offer. Because even myself, I was like, there's so many women out there that are doing more or less the same thing. What's going to be unique about me? But I have my own story and now I've built my own following. And if people love you and the value that you're bringing, then they're going to stick by you and that's what's been happening. Everyone's got their own tribe of people. So don't worry about it. Just start and get your feet wet and take baby steps. Find out what works for you. I've gone through a lot of shifting to figure out where I belong. So don't be afraid to try things, test them out, see what works for you, what doesn't, what you're comfortable with. Just start. You just never know where it leads you.
Awesome. That's a great piece of advice for anyone, actually. All right. How can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your coaching programs or your groups and services you provide?
I have a Facebook group called She Means Impact Networking and Collaboration. This is where we do weekly networking and co working. I also have my Facebook.
All right. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for sharing all of your wonderful insights and your tips and information and your experiences as well. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all of the links are located in the description and information section for this episode, of course. And look forward to connecting with you again and maybe having another conversation someday soon. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, quick question. Which way do the characteristics of your personality swing on the extroversion introversion spectrum? Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert? Or do you actually fall somewhere in the middle? While you think about that, I'm going to end it right here and leave you with that question. When you're ready, come on over to Instagram at Be Seen Network to give it a follow and send a DM with your answer to the question. I hope you enjoyed the show and found this information helpful. Until we meet again, fill your cup first and share from the overflow. Spread light and love wherever you go. See you in the next episode. Bye. Hey there! If you enjoyed the show, head on over to bcnetwork.com to join the community. Please make sure to follow and rate the show. Feel free to go ahead and take a screenshot to show you were listening and tag me on Instagram at bcnetwork. Let's meet and connect so I can show you some love over there. Thank you so much for being here. Light and love always. Be well.